The stars burned with the fury of endless conflict. For 2,000 years, three mighty alien empires had ripped the galaxy apart in a war that consumed entire star systems and claimed billions of lives. Each passing day brought fresh battles, new destruction, and deeper hatred between enemies who no longer remembered why they first raised their weapons. In the frozen void above the ruins of what once had been a thriving world, colossal warships exchanged relentless fire. The Keltheran Empire's dreadnoughts moved like drifting citadels, their armored hulls bristling with weapon arrays capable of splitting moons apart. Built for one purpose only, to unleash overwhelming power upon any foe bold enough to stand before them, these war engines carried crews bred for combat. Genetically enhanced soldiers who feared nothing and saw death in battle as the highest honor their race could claim. Admiral Vextool stood on his flagship's bridge, watching another enemy vessel erupt in flames. His four eyes scanned tactical readouts, showing hundreds of warships locked in this latest clash. The Keltheran commander had fought for 3 centuries, leading his people against ancient foes with unshaken resolve. His scarred face betrayed no emotion as another detonation lit the darkness. This was only another day in a war without end. The Keltheran fleet unleashed coordinated plasma salvos, streams of superheated energy tearing toward enemy formations. Their armor, forged from metals found in collapsing stars, could endure nearly any assault. Each dreadnought carried thousands of warriors ready to storm enemy decks in brutal hand-to-hand fighting. The Keltherans believed peace would come only through absolute conquest. Opposing them stood the biomechanical armadas of the Zephyrian Collective, ships more grown than manufactured. These living vessels healed mid-battle, sealing breaches and regenerating weapons as they fought. Unlike the Keltherans, who fought as individuals, the Zephyrians shared one mind across billions through quantum-linked neural networks. Commander Nod Gilera existed as both one being and part of the greater whole, directing fleets with perfect precision. When one vessel suffered damage, every other ship instantly knew. The collective saw no war, only the necessary assimilation of all life into unity. Their craft moved like swarming schools through space, reacting as one organism. When plasma struck, their organic hulls bubbled and flowed to absorb the impact. Weapon blisters unfurled like blooming petals, releasing swarms of smaller craft moving with insect-like harmony. For millennia, the Zephyrians sought to subsume all species, convinced only unity could bring true galactic peace. The third power in this eternal struggle mastered space itself. The Vraxi Confederacy had learned to exist partly outside reality. Their ships phased between dimensions, flickering in and out like specters amid the carnage. Their attacks came from impossible angles, bypassing armor and shields to strike directly at the heart of their enemies. High Archon Talvs commanded the Vraxi fleet from a vessel existing across 7 dimensions at once. To outside observers, his ship appeared as a shifting storm of light and darkness that hurt the eyes to witness. The Vraxi had shed physical form millennia ago, becoming beings of pure energy bound by will alone. They saw the war as a crucible to separate the transcendent from the unworthy, believing only those who surpassed their limits deserved to rule the galaxy. Their weapons phased through Keltheran armor like it was air, while their dimensional mastery let them evade the Zephyrians' coordinated attacks. When Vraxi warships struck, they appeared amid enemy lines, unleashed catastrophic energy barrages, then vanished before retaliation could reach them. They fought not for conquest or assimilation, but for what they called enlightenment through the cleansing of lesser species. For centuries, each faction had forged counters to the other's tactics. Keltheran dreadnoughts, with massive armor and colossal guns, could endure Vraxi assaults and track the shifting Zephyrian bioships. The Zephyrian Collective's shared consciousness allowed them to anticipate Keltheran maneuvers, while regenerative hulls blunted Vraxi raids. Yet the Vraxi phased through both Keltheran firepower and Zephyrian precision, striking wherever enemies least expected. This equilibrium locked the galaxy into endless deadlock. Battles raged across hundreds of systems with no decisive victory. Worlds burned to lifeless rock under orbital bombardment. Civilizations that once reached for the stars now hid in caverns, hoping war would pass them by. Trade routes once carrying commerce and culture now served only as killing grounds where the three empires clashed again and again. In the galactic west, countless lesser species watched destruction spread with despair. They had abandoned hope of peace, clinging only to survival as the great powers shattered the galaxy around them. Some fled toward remote clusters. Others hid in dark regions between spiral arms beyond the warring fleet's reach. The conflict had become self-sustaining, feeding upon itself with each passing year. Young Keltherans were bred to hate and to dream of glorious death. Zephyrian nodes calculated millions of strategies seeking assimilation. Vraxi energy beings meditated on transcendence while preparing their next purge. None remembered how it began. The war endured because it had always endured, because each side believed utterly that enemies could never be trusted, never reasoned with, only annihilated. Above the latest dead world, thousands of warships traded fire in a familiar storm of destruction. Keltheran dreadnoughts advanced in disciplined ranks, Zephyrian bioships swarmed like hunting beasts, and Vraxi vessels blinked through dimensions, slashing at exposed flanks before fading again. The pattern was as repetitive as it was lethal, a cosmic dance ending with slaughter on all sides, yet no change to the balance of power. Tomorrow would bring another battle, then another, stretching into infinity. The year 2387 marked humanity's leap into the unknown. After decades escaping Earth's gravity, human science finally unlocked faster-than-light travel. The breakthrough came from an unlikely source, a young physicist, Lisa Chen, studying quantum mechanics at the University of California. Her revolutionary jump drive folded space itself, letting ships cross light years in hours instead of centuries. Captain Jake Morrison stood aboard the USS Discovery, humanity's first deep space vessel. Smaller than the great freighters hauling ore between Earth and Mars, it embodied humanity's grandest dream. Morrison, a veteran of the lunar wars, had volunteered for the most dangerous mission in history. His weathered face showed the resolve forged through years of preparation. The Discovery's crew of 35 represented Earth's finest. Chief Science Officer Lisa Chen had insisted on joining the mission herself. Despite offers of safer posts on Earth, she wanted to see her theories tested in the silence between the stars. Commander Ryan Blake served as first officer, bringing years of strategic planning from Earth's Space Navy. The former soldier, weary of the solar system's petty wars, hoped exploration would give humanity a better future. Dr. Nathan Cross had devoted his life to studying Earth's biology, but dreamed of discovering what life might be on alien worlds. The xenobiologist filled the ship's databanks with humanity's knowledge of evolution, preparing for life forms beyond imagination. Communications officer Amy Torres mastered every human language and devised protocols for contacting non-human minds. Her enthusiasm spread hope that the mission might find allies among the stars. Security Chief Danny Park commanded the Marine Detachment, veterans ready to defend the crew if danger came. Park, hardened by asteroid belt combat, knew exploration carried risks. Dr. Helen Ross, ship's medical officer, carried experimental treatments designed for alien physiology should they meet wounded life forms beyond Earth. The Discovery's first jump targeted a star 12 light-years away, chosen because long-range telescopes hinted at planets possibly sustaining life. Morrison ordered the jump drive engaged. Space twisted like shattered glass before snapping back. The crew erupted in cheers. They had gone farther from Earth than any human before them. Their celebration died instantly as alarms filled the bridge. Surrounding space burned with massive alien warships locked in apocalyptic battle. Explosions rivaling nuclear blasts tore through darkness as city-sized vessels exchanged incomprehensible firepower. Morrison ordered minimal power, letting the Discovery drift unseen through chaos like a leaf in a storm. The alien craft defied human imagination. Some were angular fortresses, bristling with weapons firing energy across impossible ranges. Others looked alive, hulls pulsing with inner light as they moved like swimming creatures through vacuum. Strangest of all were vessels flickering in and out of existence, striking then vanishing into nothingness. Dr. Cross recorded everything, hands shaking as weapons shattering asteroids clashed around them. A single blast carried energy greater than Earth's entire nuclear arsenal. Yet the fight seemed ritualistic, as though governed by ancient rules. Amy Torres frantically intercepted transmissions, struggling to decode signals using physics humanity barely grasped. Gradually, she pieced together fragments. 3 factions locked in endless hatred, each predicting the other's tactics, countering every move with terrifying efficiency. The discovery went unnoticed, too small for sensors built to track Titanic warships. Morrison chose silence, observing rather than risking annihilation by revealing humanity's presence. Then a crippled alien vessel broke away. After debate, Morrison ordered the discovery to follow. The alien craft crashed near the moon's equator. Security Chief Park led a suited team into wreckage glowing with residual heat. Inside, they found the pilot alive but gravely wounded. The alien, built for war, bore armored skin, 4 clawed arms, and a face of sharp angles with 4 burning eyes. Despite its terrifying form, it lay unconscious, bleeding luminous fluid like liquid starlight. Ross worked desperately, adapting medicine for unknown biology. Basic trauma principles still applied, and slowly the alien stirred, eyes opening in confusion at its rescuers. Its voice, like grinding metal, translated into human speech, Warrior Prime Kexfall of the Keltheran Empire. He could not fathom why enemies saved his life. In Keltheran culture, fallen warriors died with honor, and mercy to foes was deepest insult. As treatment continued, Kexfall spoke haltingly of the endless war consuming his people across millennia, of ancient grudges, forgotten causes and battles fought on thousands of worlds where peace was weakness, and victory meant annihilating one's enemies utterly. Through Kexfall's words, the humans began to grasp the true scale of what they had found. This was no border dispute between neighboring worlds, but a galaxy-spanning war raging for millennia. 3 vast empires locked in endless destruction consumed everything: civilizations, resources, entire star systems, leaving no room for peace, discovery, or hope. The Discovery crew realized they had uncovered a truth that would change humanity forever. The galaxy they longed to explore was drowning in war, its civilizations chained to hatred and vengeance no one could escape. As they prepared to return to Earth, none imagined humanity might hold the key to ending a conflict older than their entire species. For 3 days, the United Nations held emergency sessions without pause. President Caroline Walsh presided over heated arguments from every nation. The revelation of an ancient, ongoing galactic war had shattered humanity's dream of peaceful first contact. General Peter Hayes slammed his fist on the table, demanding total isolation. A lifetime defending Earth had not prepared him for alien fleets wielding planet-killing weapons. He insisted humanity end all deep space exploration and build massive defenses across the solar system. But Secretary of State Andrew Chen rejected military panic. A veteran diplomat, Chen argued for stealth and intelligence gathering. Earth needed knowledge before taking irreversible action. He proposed sending small reconnaissance ships to study the conflict from afar, preparing for whatever threat might come. After weeks of bitter debate, President Walsh made the decision shaping humanity's destiny. A reconnaissance fleet under Admiral Lucy Kim, brilliant strategist of the Mars Rebellion, would lead Earth's first campaign beyond the solar system. Avoid direct confrontation, gather intelligence, uncover the truth. That was her mandate. At a hidden base beyond Pluto, the fleet took shape. The Discovery, retrofitted with new technology from its first mission, remained under Captain Morrison's command. 2 new warships joined it. The USS Defiance, commanded by Captain Tony Rivera, former fighter ace of the Belt Wars, was built for stealth and speed, striking hard, then vanishing before enemies reacted. Rivera volunteered hoping alien war might unite humanity after centuries of internal conflict. The second ship, USS Phoenix, under Captain Sandra Bell, carried the most advanced sensor systems humanity had built. Bell, quiet and methodical, had designed communication tools capable of intercepting and decoding alien transmissions. She believed information, not firepower, would decide humanity's fate among the stars. The fleet began operations where alien powers clashed constantly, staying hidden while learning everything possible. They discovered warfare waged with terrifying precision, but also dangerous predictability. Each empire knew its enemies so well, every battle followed the same pattern, every strike countered before it began. Captain Rivera shattered this stale equilibrium. Using hit-and-run tactics, the Defiant struck supply lines, ambushed isolated ships, then disappeared. These unpredictable raids baffled the aliens, who assumed their traditional enemies had developed strange new weapons or strategies. Meanwhile, aboard the Discovery, engineer Gary Foster combined captured alien technologies, Keltheran armor, Zephyrian regeneration, Vraxi energy manipulation, into hybrid systems surpassing anything the three empires possessed. Humanity's small fleet began fielding weapons and defenses alien science could not explain. Captain Bell's Phoenix carried out the riskiest missions, slipping close to major fleet battles to intercept communications. Her team discovered why the war never ended. The empires literally could not talk to each other. Their incompatible communication systems made diplomacy nearly impossible. Diplomat Ellen Murphy changed that. She opened channels with all three factions simultaneously, behavior the aliens considered incomprehensible. Through careful negotiation, Murphy secured temporary ceasefires and safe passage agreements. Limited though they were, these truces let human ships travel through active war zones without immediate attack. Alien commanders agreed partly out of curiosity. The humans followed no familiar rules of galactic warfare, fought no one yet disrupted everything. Dr. Angela Martinez, the fleet's psychologist, studied alien behavior and uncovered the war's hollow core. None fought to win anymore. The war continued because ending it meant admitting countless centuries of slaughter were meaningless. Wherever humans appeared, battle patterns collapsed. Admiral Vextool himself reported rising tactical anomalies, unexplained failures of strategies perfected over thousands of years. The Keltheran warlord could not understand why plans that always worked now fell apart the moment humans entered the field. The humans gradually grasped the scale of what Sexval revealed. This was no minor clash between rival worlds, but a galaxy-spanning war raging for thousands of years. Three ancient empires had trapped themselves in an endless cycle of annihilation that devoured entire civilizations, leaving no chance for progress, peace, or hope. The Discovery crew realized they had stumbled upon a truth that would reshape humanity's destiny forever. The galaxy they longed to explore was tearing itself apart, enslaved to hatred older than their species itself. And as they prepared to return to Earth with their grim report, none imagined humanity might hold the key to ending a conflict older than civilization itself. For 3 straight days, the United Nations remained locked in emergency session. At the head of the vast conference chamber, President Caroline Walsh endured the chaos as delegates from every nation shouted over each other. Humanity's dreams of peaceful exploration lay in ruins. Alien wars with planet-killing weapons were no longer science fiction but terrifying reality. General Peter Hayes, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, slammed his fist on the table demanding immediate isolation. A lifetime of preparing for earthly wars offered no answers for enemies who burned worlds to ash. He insisted humanity halt all deep space exploration and turn Earth into a fortress before it was too late. But Secretary of State Andrew Chen opposed military panic with diplomatic caution. A veteran of hostile negotiations, he urged stealthy observation over reckless confrontation. Better to send small hidden ships to learn from afar, he argued, while Earth quietly strengthened its defenses. After bitter debate, President Walsh made the choice that would shape humanity's future among the stars. She authorized a reconnaissance fleet under Admiral Lucy Kim, legendary hero of the Mars Colony Rebellion. Kim would lead a small, elusive force tasked with gathering intelligence while avoiding war at all costs. At a secret base beyond Pluto, the Admiral assembled her fleet. Discovery, refitted with alien-inspired systems, would serve as flagship under Captain Morrison's steady command. 2 new vessels joined her, USS Defiance, a fast, stealthy warship under Captain Tony Rivera, veteran of the asteroid conflicts, restless for a cause beyond fighting humans, and USS Phoenix, a long-range reconnaissance vessel led by Captain Sandra Bell, master of alien communications and electronic warfare. Soon the human fleet slipped into sectors where the three empires clashed endlessly. They observed from the shadows, learning. Alien tactics proved flawless yet predictable, shaped by millennia of unchanging hatred. Captain Rivera shattered that predictability. With hit-and-run strikes on convoys and outposts, Defiance struck like a ghost, vanishing before anyone could respond. The aliens assumed their usual enemies had invented terrifying new weapons. Engineer Gary Foster aboard Discovery merged captured technologies, Ketharan armor, Zepyrian bioregeneration, Vryaxi energy systems, into hybrid marvels beyond anything the Empires possessed. Captain Bell's Phoenix risked everything to intercept alien communications, uncovering why peace had never come. The three powers literally could not talk to one another, their technologies incompatible by design. Diplomat Ellen Murphy broke that barrier. To alien shock, she sought talks with all three sides at once, securing brief, local truces so human ships could pass unharmed. Dr. Angela Martinez, fleet psychologist, discovered the deeper truth. The war endured not from hope of victory, but because ending it meant admitting millennia of slaughter were meaningless. Yet human presence disrupted everything. Alien admirals reported tactical anomalies, battles unraveling whenever humans appeared. Ketharan, Zepyrian, Vraxi, none could explain why their strategies failed against. Whispers spread the humans had changed the game. And for the first time in millennia, the three great powers considered the unthinkable, allying not to end their war, but to destroy the intruders who dared challenge it. Admiral Kim soon received grim reports. Ancient enemies were coordinating for the first time in recorded history. Humanity had done what millennia of slaughter could not, forced them to speak with one voice, however briefly. The balance of power shifted as humans struck where none expected, rewriting the rules of war itself. Captain Chris Johnson, commanding the stealth ship USS Shadow, embodied that new warfare. Built from human ingenuity fused with stolen alien secrets, Shadow could slip through battle lines unseen. In the Riel sector, where all three empires kept their most feared prison camps, Johnson led simultaneous raids on Ketharan fortresses, Zepyrian assimilation hives, and Vraxi purification vaults. The mission was audacious beyond reason. Perfectly timed strikes freed prisoners of every species, friend and foe alike. Wounded Ketharan warriors found themselves treated beside broken Zepyrian drones and fading Vraxi energy beings. The humans asked nothing but remembrance. That mercy had come from those with no side at all. Alien commanders reeled. Why would an enemy save everyone? Zepyrian collective minds stalled, unable to compute motives without logic or precedent. Vraxi war philosophers called humanity dangerous chaos given form. Then Colonel Marcus Webb unleashed his final shock. From hidden bases in asteroid fields and nebulae, his teams built mobile supply stations assembled from alien technologies, Ketharan strength, Zepyrian regeneration, Vraxi energy shields, self-repairing, hidden, and everywhere at once. And at one such base, Communication Officer Tyler Brown made the discovery that would change everything. Tyler Brown's discovery shook the entire human fleet. While intercepting alien transmissions, he uncovered the reason behind 2,000 years of endless war. The three empires literally could not talk to each other. The Keltharans used rigid, honor-bound codes understood only through rank-based hierarchies. The Zepyrians communicated through their collective consciousness, incomprehensible to individuals outside the hive mind. The Vraxi spoke through dimensional frequencies existing outside normal space-time. No system could interface with the others. Brown's work revealed the simple, devastating truth. Without human intermediaries, peace negotiations were impossible. Admiral Kim immediately launched Operation Peacekeeper, the boldest human mission yet. Captain Morrison assembled linguists, cultural analysts, and intelligence officers from every branch of the fleet. Working with cultural specialist Karen White, they began facilitating secret communications between war-weary commanders on all sides, and to the crew's astonishment, cracks began appearing in the enemy's absolute convictions. Keltheran warriors questioned whether honor could exist without ceaseless death. Zephyrian subnodes experienced unaligned, private thoughts that contradicted the collective's will. Some Varaxi philosophers wondered if enlightenment might demand preservation, not annihilation. In total secrecy, humanity built Harmony Point, a neutral space station in a worthless, abandoned star system. Architect Victor Clark designed it using stolen technology from all three factions, defenses too strong for any single empire to destroy, too alien for any to claim as their own. For the first time in 2 millennia, representatives of all three empires entered the same chamber. Human translators bridged languages older than civilization itself. Keeltheran generals spoke to Zephyrian nodes. Vraxi envoys debated concepts of honor, unity, and transcendence with both rivals. The talks were tense, poisoned by centuries of hatred. Yet they happened, an impossibility, only months before. But not everyone welcomed this fragile hope. Admiral Vexthul of the Keltherans began planning a galaxy-wide offensive to purge humanity's corrupting influence. Hierarchant Talvis of the Vraxi called compassion a disease-weakening cosmic order. Commander Node Kilnara of the Zephyrians calculated humanity as a variable of pure chaos, a threat to the collective's mathematical perfection. And for the first time in history, the three ancient enemies agreed on something. Humanity had to die. Combined task forces appeared where none had existed before. Keltheran dreadnoughts fought alongside Zephyrian bioships and Vraxi dimensional warcraft. Their strengths fused into a single weapon of annihilation. The first coordinated ambush nearly killed Captain Bell's USS Phoenix. Only Chief Engineer Paul Garcia's hybrid, damage control systems, an unholy mix of human improvisation and alien technology saved the ship from becoming wreckage drifting in the void. Admiral Kim's intelligence confirmed the impossible. After 2,000 years, the three great powers were cooperating. Not for peace, for war, for extermination, across human command channels. The message was grim and clear. The galaxy would rather unite to destroy humanity than risk the end of its eternal war. Now enemy fleets massed in numbers no human commander had ever imagined. Dreadnoughts, hive ships, and dimensional phantoms gathered into the largest armada in galactic history. A storm built from three civilizations perfected for destruction. Their target, Earth. Their goal, humanity's extinction. President Walsh received reports of the enemy armada advancing toward human space. Against its combined firepower, humanity's small fleet would shatter like glass. No defenses on Earth, no hidden base, no hybrid technology could stop what was coming. But instead of preparing for a conventional battle, they could never win. Humanity chose the most audacious strategy in its history. One chance, one plan. One gamble to decide the future of the galaxy itself. I kept your entire story structure, but made the tone sharper and more cinematic so it feels like the opening act of a massive final confrontation.